Matityahu. Matthew, chapter 22. Yeshua again used parables in speaking to them. The kingdom of heaven is like a king who prepared a wedding feast for his son. But when he sent his slaves to summon the invited guests to the wedding, they refused to come. So he sent some more slaves, instructing them to tell the guests, "Look, I've prepared my banquet. I've slaughtered my bulls and my fattened cattle, and everything is ready. Come to the wedding." But they weren't interested and went off, one to his farm, another to his business, and the rest grabbed his slaves, mistreated them, and killed them. The king was furious and sent his soldiers, who killed those murderers and burned down their city. Then he said to his slaves, "Well, the wedding feast is ready, but the ones who were invited didn't deserve it. So go out to the street corners and invite to the banquet as many as you find." The slaves went out into the streets, gathered all the people they could find, the bad along with the good, and the wedding hall was filled with guests. Now when the king came in to look at the guests, he saw there a man who wasn't dressed for a wedding, so he asked him, "Friend, how did you get in here without wedding clothes?" The man was speechless. Then the king said to the servants, "Bind him hand and foot, and throw him outside in the dark. In that place people will wail and grind their teeth, for many are invited, but few are chosen." Then the Parushim went away and put together a plan to trap Yeshua with his own words. They sent him some of their Talmudim and some members of Herod's party. They said, "Rabbi, we know that you tell the truth and really teach what God's way is. You aren't concerned with what other people think about you, since you pay no attention to a person's status. So tell us your opinion. Does Torah permit paying taxes to the Roman emperor or not?" Yeshua, however, knowing their malicious intent, said, "You hypocrites, why are you trying to trap me? Show me the coin used to pay the tax." They brought him a denarius, and he asked them, "Whose name and picture are these?" "The emperor's," they replied. Yeshua said to them, "Give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and give to God what belongs to God." On hearing this, they were amazed, and they left him and went away. That same day, some Tzaddukim came to him. They are the ones who say there is no such thing as a resurrection. So they put to him a she'ela. "Rabbi, Moshe said, if a man dies childless, his brother must marry his widow and have children to preserve the man's family line. There were 7 brothers. The first one married and then died, and since he had no children, he left his widow to his brother. The same thing happened to the second brother, and the third, and finally to all 7. After them all, the woman died. Now in the resurrection of the 7, whose wife will she be? For they all married her." Yeshua answered them, "The reason you go astray is that you are ignorant both of the Tanakh and of the power of God. For in the resurrection, neither men or women will marry. Rather, they will be like angels in heaven. And as for whether the dead are resurrected, haven't you read what God said to you? I am the God of Abraham, the God of Yitzhak, and the God of Yaakov. He is God not of the dead, but of the living." When the crowds heard how he taught, they were astounded. But when the Parushim learned that he had silenced the Tzaddukim, they got together. And one of them, who was a Torah expert, asked a she'ela to trap him. "Rabbi, which of the mitzvot in the Torah is the most important?" He told him, "You are to love Adonai your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength. Adonai, Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. This is the greatest and most important mitzvah. And a second is similar to it. You are to love your neighbor as yourself. All of the Torah and the prophets are dependent on these 2 mitzvot." Then turning to the assembled Parushim, Yeshua put a she'ela to them. "Tell me your view concerning the Messiah. Whose son is he?" They said to him, "David's." "Then how is it," he asked them, "that David, inspired by the Spirit, calls him Lord when he says, 'Adonai said to my Lord, sit here at my right hand until I put your enemies under your feet'? If David thus calls him Lord, how is he his son?" No one could think of anything to say in reply, and from that day on, no one dared put to him another she'ela. End of Matthew, chapter 22.